Hello and welcome back to another live stream on High Altitude Investing. Today is the 24th of December, also known as Christmas Eve. And I'm super excited to be doing a live stream with you guys today, talking about one of my favorite subjects in the world, cryptocurrency, and talking about what's coming in these beautiful markets because we have opportunity up, down, right, left, whatever direction you're looking, there's opportunity in the crypto markets, and I'm super excited about what's coming. So let's go ahead and share this link everywhere, and we'll get started on this live stream. Start doing analysis on Bitcoin first, as always, and then we'll get into other coins as well. So yeah, Merry Christmas Eve. I know tomorrow is Christmas, and it's pretty exciting. It's crazy how fast Christmas came. It feels like it popped out of nowhere and all of a sudden Christmas is here. It happens every year. And yeah, should be a good live stream today. Let's start on Bitcoin and then we'll run into all of your requests and talk about some other stuff as well. And yes, I do have a Christmas fedora on. Shout out to Heartway Farms because they sent me this Christmas fedora. And last year they sent this to me, and so now every single Christmas I get to wear this really cool Christmas fedora. So shout out to Josh over at his homestead at Heartway Farms. I believe it's Heartway. Let's see. Heartway Farms. Yes, it is Heartway Farms. This awesome little YouTube channel. Shout out to these guys and everything that they do on their homestead. They gave me this cool fedora last year. So all right, let's pull up Bitcoin here, and we'll start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually looks really good right now, you guys. We did pull back a little bit off of this resistance here at 90K, back down to 86, but now we're actually coming up off of support pretty nicely here. There's a bit of a wedge structure right here as well. You can see we kind of broke out of a wedge right here, came back down and tested a support. And now we're bouncing up off of this support. It looks to me like we're going to hold. Like this whole area of support is going to hold on Bitcoin, and that we'll start to turn around here. And if we go out to the bigger time frame like the daily, it really makes sense. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin on the daily, this looks a lot like what happened right here, as well as what happened right here. We just have a big correction on Bitcoin. So we should see a nice recovery here. We should see price start to bounce up off of these support levels, start to break up through our resistance here at 94K, and really start to recover here in a significant way. It looks really nice. Whenever you see a big dip like this in the market, it's usually a good opportunity to buy. Most of the time, if you see a big dip in the market, there's at least going to be a relief rally. And with crypto, because of what's happening in the big picture, most of these dips are for buying for trend continuation. In other words, not only will the market recover, but it will continue to trend upwards and continue to break out. Something else that I also was shown recently, which is kind of interesting and definitely something to be aware of, you guys. If we pull up Bitcoin here and we switch to the regular chart, and then we pull up gold. Let's pull up gold. Right here. Compare to gold. And let's throw gold on top of this chart. Well, actually, we got to use the same scale. There we go. If you look at this, this is kind of interesting. Last time gold topped out right here. This was the previous local high on gold. The last time gold topped out was the bottom of Bitcoin right here. And then Bitcoin ran all the way up to a new all-time high and gold corrected. So there is a history of gold front-running Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin or gold seeing a local top, and then Bitcoin rallying after gold tops out. That's basically what happened right here in 2021. Gold topped out, and Bitcoin rallied all the way to 69,000 per coin. Well, gold was seeing this correction. And what's interesting right now is gold is rallying like crazy. You can see gold is going crazy. Bitcoin followed it for a little while here, but gold is really front running here. We have a lot of bullishness on gold, and this could easily see a short-term correction. It could easily do an ABC correction here. And historically, that's when we saw money come into Bitcoin in a significant way. So just be aware of that. I know a lot of people are trying to FOMO into gold and buy gold. But you guys, gold and silver are at all-time highs. So they could easily see a correction. Even if it's just a small correction before it goes higher, they could easily see a correction. In which case, we could see a lot of money flood into crypto as people, as historically we've seen people sell their gold to buy into Bitcoin after gold was a front runner for Bitcoin. What's up, Matt Osty? Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see here. Mesum Gimya. That's hard to say. Misumgya. Don't know how to say your name there, but thank you for tuning in. John Cook, morning from Colorado Springs. Well, good morning. Dinoa, 3 thumbs up. Well, 3 thumbs up to you as well. So, anyways, historically we've seen Bitcoin front run, or gold front run Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin see a big run as gold topped out. That's where this whole move right here happened. Gold topped out, and then Bitcoin started to run. And when I say gold topped out, I'm not saying the whole trend was done. I'm just saying it saw a short-term correction. I don't believe gold is just going to top out. Well, it could, but I don't believe it's going to top out from its big picture trend anytime soon. But it could see a short-term correction soon. Same with silver, in which case we could see a big influx of money come into crypto, leaving the commodities markets and coming into crypto, which would be really cool. But yeah, Bitcoin is looking good here on the daily. I do believe we will double bottom here based on us starting to see a little bit of strength coming in right here, and based on the fact that we're so oversold here on the daily candlesticks. We are extremely oversold in this time frame. Obviously, the peak point of being oversold was right here. But usually when you're oversold in the market, even though you start to see the MACD and the RSI start to recover off of those lows, if you're really oversold, you're going to see the MACD come all the way back up like this, and the RSI come all the way back up to the top. It's going to go from the very bottom of the chart, like it did over here, back up to the top of the chart, like it did over here. And that leads to a big bullish move. So I do see a big bullish move coming on Bitcoin up off of these lows, and the RSI and the MACD to kind of flip from the bottom half of the indicator up to the top half of the indicator, and we should see a nice recovery here on Bitcoin. The other thing that I talked about in previous videos that's something you should really be thinking about, something you should be aware of, and that I talked about in previous live streams and videos, is the total market cap trend line. So this is the total crypto market cap here. And on the total crypto market cap, we have this perfect trend line. Perfect trend line here. That every time we've tested this level, we saw a significant increase in value. As you can see, we tested it here, went all the way up to a new all-time high, tested it here, went all the way up to a new all-time high, and we're testing it again. So this level should see a strong reaction. This is a good area for us to see a strong bullish reaction. As you guys know, you don't want to panic sell the support level. You should be buying support and selling resistance. We're at support right now, multiple areas of confluence. Not only do we have this trend line, but we also have this huge area of support going all the way back to our previous high right here, one of our previous highs back in 2024. So there's a lot of trend line support here, as well as horizontal support, and we're having confluence of that trend line and the horizontal support level. So it's very likely that the total crypto market cap sees a strong reaction off of this level on the upside for a bullish reaction up off of this level. So that looks really good here on the total crypto market cap as well. King J says, Merry Christmas Eve. Well, Merry Christmas Eve to you, and thank you so much for taking some time to tune into today's live stream. Edward says, hi, Dallin. Are you able to chart Digibyte? What are your price targets? Thank you. Yeah, so I've been doing Digibyte like pretty much almost every live stream now. I've been doing it pretty consistently, talking about how Digibyte doesn't do a 4-year cycle, to kind of denounce this whole idea that crypto has to do 4-year cycles. Digibyte historically has not done a 4-year cycle. If you look at every cycle, you can see here's the first cycle on Digibyte right here. And if you look at this cycle, the bear market, just the bear market alone, was only about 158 days. Then the second bear market on Digibyte was 796 days. So this Digibyte is a prime example of something that is not following a 4-year cycle. Then 1600 days, right? So this is a pretty clear example of an altcoin that's growing, that has a bigger and bigger cycle every time it has a cycle. So just to be aware of that, because I know a lot of people think the 4-year cycle is the end all be all, but don't worship a single trading strategy. You got to take everything into account, take a look at what's happening, back test the market, see what's historically happened, but not just what's historically happened a couple times, but what's historically happened over the history of an asset. And that will give you a better idea of how that asset behaves. And then when you get an understanding of the way that asset is behaving, you'll get a better idea of how to predict that market in the future. First thing that I see here with Digibyte on the daily candlesticks is we are breaking bullish out of this downward trending resistance line. So this could be very good here on the daily to see this breakout of this downward trending resistance line. We could easily start to see buying coming back into this market in the near future. Now, as far as price targets go for Digibyte, I expect a significant amount of altcoins to break out up above their old all-time highs, even if it's just for a little bit like it did previously. Because here's the thing with crypto. Crypto does trade a lot like commodities markets. Crypto trades a lot like gold and silver does. There's a lot of similarities between the way that they move. And so if we pull up the silver chart, for example, let's pull up silver. Let's go to the 3-week time frame. If you look at silver here, silver will have this huge pump, right? Big pump, and then it'll just instantly crash and reaccumulate. This is the way silver moves. It's not like the Dow Jones that's in this massive uptrend that just continues, not without recessions, not without depressions, but it's in a massive uptrend that continues, right? Gold and silver, these markets trade a lot more. They pump really hard. They break out to a new high or pretty close to one, and then they crash. And this is how crypto trades. Look at Digibyte. You'll get this breakout up to a new all-time high, then you'll crash. Then you'll get a breakout up to a new all-time high, and you'll crash. So even if some of these altcoins don't stay above their old all-time highs, I do expect a lot of them to, at least for a period of time, break out to a new all-time high. So when it comes to Digibyte and my big picture target for Digibyte, I do expect it to break above 17 cents. And something similar to what silver's doing over here, where silver is breaking out to a new all-time high, right? So I could easily see a similar move come for Digibyte, where Digibyte does break out to a new all-time high. How long it stays up there, that's a whole nother thing, It could stay up there for quite some time. If you look at silver, Even though silver wouldn't surprise me to see a correction like this at all, it could still go quite a bit higher. But at some point, it's going to crash, and the crash is going to be like the crash that happened right here or the crash that happened right here. It's not just going to trend up forever. This is the way commodities markets move. They have these big pumps. They pump really hard, sometimes above their old all-time high. Then they crash. And the altcoin markets behave pretty similar as well. You can see every time it breaks above an old all-time high, it ends up crashing. So I do expect a big bull market coming for Digibyte up to a new all-time high in a pretty profound way. And it should be very profitable for anybody holding it, especially people that buy down here. How long it stays up there, I don't know, but it's very undervalued now. So if you buy in now and you take profits and you scale out as the market's pumping and you keep a little bit in case it keeps going really high, it's a really effective way to trade this market with very low risk. If you do that, you're able to make a lot of money without risking very much. You lock in a lot of profit, and then when the market pumps, you still have a little bit of money in the market, even though you've scaled out a whole bunch of your position along the way up. And in case it moons way higher than you expect, you're able to have a little moon bag that's completely on the house. So that's kind of the way I look at trading a lot of these markets, especially the altcoins. You want to buy in when they're cheap, scale out as they pump, and as they really start to pump hard, take a huge position of your portion off a huge portion of your position off the table, but keep a percentage in case that market goes completely above even your highest expectations, because it's all on the house at that point, right? Wow, we got a whole bunch of people tuning in. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune into today's live stream. And yeah, Merry Christmas Eve to all of you. Dallin, I appreciate you blessing us with these streams every day. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys tuning in. T-drop looks good on the hourly chart. Small cup and handle pattern. Let's pull it up and see what it looks like. And by the way, for all of you guys that are big Theta fans, big T-drop, Theta Network fans, anybody that's a fan of Theta Network as a whole, I do have these cool T-shirts right here. Check this thing out. This is pretty dope. Got these really cool Theta T-shirts. Link in the description box below. Pick yourself up one of these T-shirts. If you're in the United States, the shipping is included in the price. If you're not in the United States, send me an email and we can work out for me sending it to you, but you'll have to pay for the shipping. And these really cool Theta hats as well. So click in the description to get one of these really cool Theta hats or Theta T-shirts. I've got multiple different sizes. There is a limited supply, but make sure you check that out. Let's check out the hourly time frame here on T-drop. Oh, there is a little bit of a cup and handle here. You can see we have our cup right here and our handle pattern right here. So yeah, if we break above our resistance here on T-drop, this could easily start to see a nice move. That is a nice cup and handle pattern here on T-drop. And let's talk about Theta real quick as well for my Theta people. So Theta right now is actually doing a falling wedge pattern. So here on the hourly time frame, we actually have a nice falling wedge here on Theta. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a bullish break out of this wedge over the next day or two. This should take us up to our local resistance here at 30 cents, and that should start the beginning of a reversal here for this coin. Because fact of the matter is, we're getting very near the bottom half of this wick right here. So this is an area of massive liquidity, so we should see a bullish reaction off of this level because we're getting near the bottom half of this wick. That was a big liquidity grab, so there was a lot of liquidity in this area. We should see a bullish reaction in the near future for Theta. And in the big picture, you guys know the drill. We're in the despair phase of the market cycle, and we should see a big reversal in the beginning of a bull market here in the big picture as well. So I'm still super bullish on all of those coins. Theta, T-drop, T-fuel, all of them. Merry Christmas to you, LOU1618. I think it's Lao1618. I've never figured out for sure how to pronounce your name. But I love your name because it's got the 1618 on it, which is Fibonacci is awesome. TA on X or AIXBT. I'm assuming this is on Deck Screener, but we'll check on TradingView first. AIXBT. Oh, here we go. Cool. So same kind of thing here as with theta, right? We had this big liquidity grab right here with this big wick right here. So this is an area where there's massive liquidity, and we're getting near the bottom of that liquidity grab, and we have what looks to be like a double bottom forming here. So this should start to bottom out soon here on the hourly time frame. We should start to see a bullish reaction because we're at the bottom half of this liquidity zone. We also have this big downward trending resistance line right here that it looks like we're about to break through. So this should see a bullish reaction here on the hourly time frame. Now on the daily time frame, if we zoom out to the daily, this looks really good. This looks amazing here. You know, we have this big correction. This would be the anger phase of the market cycle. Then we go for a new low. So this is despair or depression, depending on which market cycle chart you're looking at. So this is a really prime example of something that's extremely oversold. We're in the despair phase, the depression phase of the cycle. This was euphoria up here. And now we have a lot of volume coming into this market, huge liquidity grab. This should see a bullish reversal very soon in the big picture and in the short term. So this looks really good down here. I would say accumulate more if that's what you've been doing. Pick up as much as you possibly can down there. Looks really nice. Miguel says, good morning. Price targets for Doge and Litecoin. So you guys, I'll be honest with you. As far as exact price targets, nobody knows. Nobody knows how high Doge is going to go. Nobody knows how high Litecoin is going to go in the big picture. Nobody knows. But what you can get to have with a pretty high degree of accuracy is that we will break out to a new all-time high, and we will start to extend to higher Fibonacci extensions. But nobody knows what extension we'll go to. You can measure other cycles. You can measure what happened in 2017 to get an idea of what could happen, for example, with Dogecoin. But nobody knows what extension it's going to go to. But what you can do is you can buy, and some people hear that and they go, oh, well, you know, that's lame. Like, you can't know. Well, of course you can't. These markets are traded because of human emotion, and there is mathematical consistencies between these cycles. But every time that human emotion comes into play, people could get way more excited than what you think. And the price could extend to levels that are way higher than what people are planning. Or people could not get as excited, and there could be less catalysts and less excitement in the market, and it won't go as high. So all you can do is buy when it's undervalued in the big picture and scale out into those extensions and do your best to take profits when things are overvalued. And when you've got a bunch of profit, you can keep some on the house in the market, but you can't accurately predict exactly what price it's going to stop at. That's just, you know, you can get pretty close. There's been times where I have called tops based on Fibonacci extensions and stuff, but you can't just, you know, I can't sit here and tell you, oh, Doge is going to go to $10 and there's, you know, no way it's not going to. That's not possible. But I will do my best to show you the zones that Dogecoin can extend to. So we'll start with Dogecoin here. So just looking at Dogecoin, comparing it to Bitcoin back before 2017 happened. So these markets are behaving a lot like how the markets behaved before 2017. So if we take our Fibonacci extension tool here with Bitcoin, go from the bottom to the top and back down, these are the extensions that Bitcoin hit in its cycle. So Bitcoin went all the way up to the 16618 Fibonacci extension in 2017. Now, in the big picture, this cycle is bigger in terms of time than the Bitcoin cycle was. But if it follows a similar pattern, which it's already starting to do, very similar to Bitcoin back then, if it follows a similar pattern, it could reach any of these extensions. It could top out at the 5618, or if we really do get mass adoption for crypto in the big picture, there's nothing that says Dogecoin can't go all the way to the 16618. It's for sure, as far as like a guaranteed target, I would say $1 is pretty much guaranteed, right? We're going to break out above the old all-time high. We're set up in the big picture for a big run. It's worth 12 cents. $1 is pretty much guaranteed. How high it goes after that, nobody knows. There isn't a person on earth that can tell you that. There isn't. You can get an idea. You can buy right now when it's worth 12 cents and set a bunch of sell orders along all of these levels. Then once you start to see a topping structure, or you're overbought on the RSI, or you start to see reasons to believe that the market could top out, then you take all your profits off the table, and even if some of your sell orders weren't hit, but keep a little bit in as a moon bag in case you're wrong. But you can't predict exactly what price it's going to go to. It wouldn't surprise me, because of the nature of what's coming for crypto, with a mass adoption phase, with a big parabolic run coming in the big picture on all of these coins, or a lot of them, it wouldn't surprise me to see Dogecoin hit $5 per coin before it tops out. $1, pretty much guaranteed, but it wouldn't surprise me to see a $5 Dogecoin. And it could go higher. If it really is mass adoption, it could go higher. Now you have to understand the purchasing power of the dollar is going to be going down through this period too. So if Dogecoin was to hit $10, if you were to make $1 million on a Dogecoin trade, your $1 million won't have the same purchasing power as it did before. But you're still coming out on top, because imagine the people that keep all their money in the dollar. They're really going to be screwed when crypto goes crazy. Now, same thing with Litecoin. Do I know where Litecoin is going to top out? No, I don't know where Litecoin is going to top out. But I can tell you that it's doing the exact same thing that Nvidia did before Nvidia went completely to the moon and went parabolic and became a household name. This is the same pattern. Here's Nvidia on the right, and here's Litecoin over here on the left. It's the same structure in the market. So I do believe Litecoin will see a big parabolic run all the way to a new all-time high. So the smartest thing you could be doing right now with Litecoin, with Dogecoin, with Digibyte, is to be accumulating as much as you possibly can. Well, it's dirt cheap down here. And plan on holding through the parabolic run and scaling out as price goes up. Take some profits along the way. You know? Take profits as it's pumping. But buy early on, like right now, while it's dirt cheap. And then scale out. And you can keep 25% in the market too. Once you've taken 75% off the table, that 25% is 100% on the house. And you can just let it run. If it does what Nvidia did, if crypto goes into mass adoption and the crypto markets do what happened to new technologies in the past, and we really do see mass adoption, who knows how high it could go? You know? Don't fight a new technology. Don't go against adoption of a new technology. Imagine how dumb people looked that tried to go against the internet, that tried to fight against computers, that said, oh, computers are a passing fad, or the internet is a passing fad. Now they look really dumb, you know, because of the adoption that's happened to that technology. And yet people think crypto is somehow different, that crypto is somehow something that is not going to do what new technologies do. But crypto is here to stay, and it's going to do what new technologies do. It's going to continually get more adopted over time because it's useful. Big companies are investing in it. It solves real problems. There's excitement, there's development. It's doing exactly what new technologies do. And so, just like how the internet is a big thing in today's world, but it took time, crypto has been taking time to see the big mass adoption run that we saw with, like stuff like Nvidia or Apple. But it took time for Apple and Nvidia to do their runs too. I mean, look at Apple. Look how long Apple went sideways. Look at this. People look at the big pump on Apple because that's cool, but look how long it took for Apple to really take off and go parabolic. It took since 1980 until really 2005 when it really started to go parabolic and run. So that's what new technologies do. It takes time, but once they go on their big runs, there's nothing stopping it. Like, you cannot stop it once it takes off. And crypto is really ready to roll over from being something that people are just excited about to being something that's a mass adopted technology that everybody knows about and everybody uses on a consistent and a regular basis. Believe it or not, you guys don't have to believe me, but this is what the charts are showing. This is what's happened historically to new technologies. So you should go watch this video of Steve Jobs predicting AI, predicting all of this stuff. There's this really cool video. And people definitely thought he was kind of crazy at the time for saying all of that. But he was right. He predicted AI, he predicted all of this stuff way before it happened. So if you understand the underlying causes that leads to a certain effect, you can get a pretty good idea of what's going to happen in the future when you see a similar amount of causes taking place that are similar to a previous thing that happened. You can get a pretty good idea of what's coming, and that's what's happening with crypto. We have something very similar to the internet and the computing technology. It's just blockchain technology and the digital internet, the blockchain internet, the internet of things, as people like to call it. So let's see here. Merry Christmas, my friend. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Token. Tony G. 902 Johnson, or maybe, unlike other metals, there's no more silver. I don't know what you mean by that. Theta needs to figure out if it's going to dump or pump in the next day based on this 11-day trend line. There usually isn't just one single thing that's, if this trend line holds, or if this EMA holds, or if we get a death cross, or there isn't usually one single thing inside of a market that's going to determine what's going to happen. That's a total myth. You have no idea how many times people have told me, we just had a death cross on Bitcoin. It's going to be the bear market. You guys, every time Bitcoin saw a death cross, we saw a bull market instead. If you go look historically, Bitcoin sees a bull market every time we see a death cross. It's totally lagging. It's a totally false indicator. So there's usually not one single thing. So when you say Theta has to figure out if it's going to pump in the next day based on an 11-day trend line, that's not really true. Trend lines fail all the time and they're false breakdowns. Then you go right back to the uptrend. So you have to be careful what you should really be doing is looking at Theta in the big picture, realizing how undervalued Theta is in the big picture, and be accumulating. Because fact of the matter is, this project is a really good project. And all the accusation, all the stuff that's talking about, Mitch and all that, it's totally BS. Like, if you look into it, it's the dumbest thing ever. The things that they're saying, they're like, he wasn't inclusive enough with gender inclusion. It's just like stupid stuff that's literally completely stupid. So Theta, nothing has changed for Theta. Theta's going to pump. It's going to see a reversal. It will see a big picture bull market, has all of the characteristics of a classic market cycle. It's in the depression phase, the point of maximum financial opportunity. It's going to see a run. It will see a run. So what you should be doing is realizing that theta is worth 27 cents in the big picture. This is a perfect opportunity to be picking up this coin at dirt cheap prices. Not looking at an 11-day trend line and trying to cherry pick a single indicator as to whether it's going to die or live. 798 Welder says, "Woo, Merry Christmas, brother man." Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Brikaz0613 says, "Merry Christmas, brother. BCH on the monthly, gearing up. This thing is going to rip so hard." Yeah, I agree. BCH is going to rip like crazy. It's going to blow up. It looks so good. Iron Mike, Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. BCH looks amazing. It's like such a good setup. I know some people don't like this coin, but this thing is set up to it's poised to completely explode. It looks so bullish right now. What people don't realize is the Elliott waves, for example. We just completed wave 1 and wave 2, and we're gearing up for wave 3. We're literally breaking out, starting to break out of the top of the resistance of wave 1 as we speak. So this is set up for wave 3 just in the short-term Elliott wave count, okay? A lot of times with crypto, we'll see extended fifth waves, you guys. This thing is set up to just completely moon. It's also breaking above. If you click on the logarithmic chart here and you zoom out here on the log chart, it just broke above this huge trend line, this downward trending resistance line. We just broke bullish out of this level on the 15-day time frame. We're talking about a level that's so zoomed out that in the big picture here, this is a very, very key level. We're looking at price going all the way back to 2017, and we just broke above this key downward trending resistance line. And we even came back down. If I fix the line a little bit here, we even came back down and tested it as support, and now we're breaking out again. This thing is geared up for a massive explosion. In fact, it looks exactly like what, let's switch to the regular chart here. It looks exactly like how Litecoin looked before it pumped in 2017. It's just a bigger fractal of the same thing. So let's pull up Litecoin here. We'll pull up Litecoin on Bitfinex where we can get the data going back far enough to see it. Let's see here. There we go. We pull up Litecoin on Bitfinex here. Look at Litecoin before it pumped in 2017. Okay, here's Litecoin on the right. Here is Bitcoin Cash on the left. From an accumulation pattern perspective, Bitcoin Cash looks identical to Litecoin before 2017 happened. Look how perfect this big picture accumulation on Litecoin here. Perfect big picture accumulation. And look at this big picture accumulation on Bitcoin Cash. In terms of where we're at in the cycle, we're like right here on Bitcoin Cash. We're literally gearing up to just go vertical, to break out, to go nuts here for this coin. It's absolutely insane. It looks so good. Can you look at Celo, or Celo, I guess would probably be. Yeah, let's pull it up. Okay, let's go to the daily time frame. So this is also in the depression phase of the cycle. Most everything is in depression. So it originally looked like some of these coins were in depression back here. You know, but this is what happens a lot with the depression phase. Because if you look at the market cycle chart, the anger phase looks like the bottom. It almost always looks like the bottom. Then the market bounces back up like this. And then the true bottom comes in, and that's the depression phase. So this is kind of what bottom patterns look like. You get anger right here, and then you get depression. And sometimes sometimes with your first run at it, you're actually right. Sometimes I typed that really fast. Sometimes you're right. You know, sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, this is the depression phase, and it really is. And other times you're looking at the anger phase, but you think it's the depression phase, and the market goes for one more low. So this is where you have to have, especially with crypto, you have to have some tolerance for extreme volatility. If you're going to be investing in projects in the big picture, you have to have tolerance for extreme volatility, because they will put false bottoms in, then the true bottom will come, and that's where everybody sells, and then the big reversal happens. And that's exactly what we see here with Cello, or CeLo, or whatever. This would be our anger phase right here, and this is our depression phase in the market. So this is the point where now everybody's selling because they thought the bottom was here. We're in depression. We should see a big reversal very soon. This is the worst possible point to sell and the best possible point to be picking up more of this coin. So it looks really good down here. We have nice volume coming in, huge volume spike coming in currently. This looks like a really good entry down here at 11 cents. If anything, I would be buying as much as possible, not selling. And again, if you guys are going to be investing in these coins, if you're going to be buying and investing in the crypto markets, you have to have tolerance for volatility, because there's going to be days where the market drops where you don't expect it to happen, but the market drops 30 or 40 or sometimes even 70% lower than what you planned on. And your portfolio is going to look like you lost everything. And if you sell, the whales win. But if you hold on or buy more or both, then you're able to not only recover, but when these markets turn around, they come up out of the depression phase and see full-blown reversals. So even if you bought in anger, as long as you don't sell in depression, you're going to make a bunch of money as it turns around and breaks out to a new local high, and often sometimes even new all-time highs in the big picture. So that's the kind of psychology you have to have for crypto, or you're going to give your money to the whales, because they do the same stuff every cycle. Let's see here. Rapid says, Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mr. Intelliness says, sadly, I have to go. I have a birthday to attend to, so Merry Christmas, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. What about Hex and Pulse Chain? All right, we'll do some Hex and Pulse Chain analysis for you. And by the way, you guys, there are so many coins right now that are ready to explode, ready to turn around, that are in either the depression phase or the disbelief phase. They're starting to prepare for a big run. The best, smartest, most profitable thing you could be doing right now is picking up as much of these coins as humanly possible. Like, as humanly possible. So we're looking at wrapped pulse here versus DAI, but this is pulse chain. So even though it says WPLS, it's still the pulse chain chart here. And if you look here on pulse chain, we did get a breakout of this downward trending resistance level. We also have a falling wedge. You can see we have this falling wedge pattern. So this is a pretty typical falling wedge breakout. So if you see a falling wedge in the market, oftentimes you'll get a breakout like this. Then the market will look like it's going to go for a new low. Sometimes it even does. Sometimes it even breaks slightly below this level. But that's just a big shakeout, because really what happened here is the selling pressure is over. That's why a falling wedge happens, because selling pressure shrinks and gets smaller and smaller over time. Inside of a falling wedge, that's what a falling wedge is selling pressure getting exhausted. That's why it squeezes tighter and tighter into a range. And then when that selling pressure is completely gone, and after that final shakeout happens, you'll see a bullish reversal. So that's what we see here with pulse chain. You can see our first sell is really big, really a lot of selling pressure. Our second sell is a little bit smaller, less selling pressure. Our third sell off, even smaller, so there's less selling pressure. And on this final sell off, you can see there's still selling pressure, that was left in the market, but it's the smallest amount of selling pressure. So we should get a bullish reversal off of these lows and start a bull market for pulse chain. And if we look at hex as well, which I believe you're talking about, not ehex but pulse hex. So if we look at pulse hex versus there should be a one versus the dollar, isn't there? Yes, there is. Cool. If we look at hex on pulse chain versus the dollar and pull up the daily candlesticks, this is also a big accumulation structure here for this coin as well. So this is sideways accumulation over a long period of time. You can see we've just been bouncing up and down, really inside of a range here for quite some time. Here's our range high up here, and here's our range low down here. And we've really just been bouncing around in this range. And I know it looks like we're below the range, but support and resistance is a zone. So really, we're right on the bottom of this range for hex. And what we should see here soon is a nice bullish reversal off of these lows. You can see steady, consistent accumulation. So what we should see is a nice bullish reaction up off of the bottom of this range. Don't be afraid that it looks like it's breaking below the range. Support and resistance is a zone. It's not an exact price. So we should see a nice reaction off of these lows and a big bullish move very soon. And I told people to stay away from this project for quite some time, but now it's really looking like it's ready for a reversal. So it's looking ready to see that big picture reversal that everybody's been waiting for. The chart is looking really nice now. Same minds think alike. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for tuning in. Sir Beard 89 says, thank you, sir. Well, yeah, thank you for tuning in today's live stream, my friend. Bathroom Guy 614 says, would love your thoughts on Zen or BAT. So I'm assuming you mean Horizon when you say Zen, which is, by the way, one of my favorite setups. I love this setup. This looks so good. So let's pull this up here, and let's zoom out. So Horizon is a prime example of what all of the altcoins looked like before the 2017 pump. So if you guys were here before 2017 happened, then you know what this looks like. Litecoin is probably the best example of the chart. So let's pull up the Litecoin chart. But there's lots of examples of these coins pre-2017. So let's pull up the Litecoin chart here. So this is what altcoins looked like before 2017 happened. And 2017 was the biggest altcoin bull market ever. The biggest one. In percentage gain, everything. It was the biggest one. Except for maybe trading volume, 2021 would have been bigger in terms of trading volume. But if you look at here on Litecoin on the right and Horizon, but the only reason the trading volume was bigger in 2017 was in 2021 was because the market cap of everything is bigger, right? But if you look at Horizon over here on the left and Litecoin over here on the right, so many altcoins look like Litecoin before Litecoin pumped in 2017. There's so many altcoins that look like this, and Horizon is no different. This setup is perfect. It's one of my favorite setups right now. Massive spikes in volume. Literally set up to just go vertical. Set up to just straight up pump and just go vertical. This is a perfect setup here on Horizon. I love this setup. Let's see here. What was the other one that you wanted me to check out? BAT. So I'm assuming you're talking about basic attention token, which is one that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about for a long time, but the setup is really good, you guys. This is a good setup. Basic attention token, same kind of thing. Here in the big picture, right? We're very undervalued, very oversold. Really ready for a big run like what happened in 2021 or in 2017. This is a perfect setup here with basic attention token. And this one has very strong fundamentals. So if you're a fundamental analyst of any kind or whatsoever, if you're into fundamentals, this setup is perfect in terms of fundamentals and in terms of chart pattern. It looks really good. So I love both of those setups. By the way, you guys, I do have a Christmas VIP sale running for my one-on-one coaching, which is 12 weeks of one-on-one coaching with me personally. My lifetime VIP signals, so you can buy and trade when I'm buying and selling in these markets. And for just a single coaching call, if you just want to hop on and talk about your portfolio for an hour with me, click in the description box below. Use a coupon code Christmas 2025 to get 30% off on all of my VIP products. And also, again, for the people that like theta, definitely check out these cool theta t-shirts in the description. The coupon code doesn't apply to these just because of the cost of shipping, but I do have really dope theta t-shirts and theta hats for the people that like theta. So check in the description for those as well. So yeah, you guys, crypto has big things coming. This is one of the most exciting times. People would try to say otherwise just because the price is down on a lot of their assets, so they lose their excitement, they lose their hope. But I invite you guys to think opposite of that, to get excited because these setups are perfect. In the big picture, these setups are truly set up to go parabolic, to go vertical, to run all the way to the moon, and for us to make a bunch of money. So get excited. The price is dirt cheap. You can buy a lot of this stuff at fractions of what it's truly worth in terms of what's coming in the big picture. This opportunity in the crypto market you're not gonna see something like this again for a long time. And if you do, it probably won't be as big. We do have the cannabis sector right now. There's a lot of, stuff happening in that sector, which a lot of their stocks look really good. But in terms of percentage gain and how big crypto is going to be, how much it's going to take over the traditional finance system, it's the biggest revolution that there is. I know people say AI is bigger. They say all of this stuff. But truly, money is one of the most fundamentally important things in all of any society. Crypto is the biggest revolution that there is. It's bigger than AI, and a lot of AIs have to use blockchain technology just to protect their code, so it doesn't run away from them and get scary. So crypto literally is the biggest revolution that there is on the planet right now. But people have given up on it. They've given up on it because they're worried about silver and gold, which I love silver and gold. I've always been big on both of those as really good investments since the very beginning of my channel. But you guys, don't lose sight of what's happening. Crypto is a new financial system. Finance is the most fundamental part of every person's everyday life. We have to be able to transact with each other. The crypto total market cap is a fraction of what it will be in the future. We're talking about something that's going to have a market cap that is bigger than any other asset class in the world. Because most all of the other asset classes will have to go to blockchain-based technology. All of the stock market will have to move to a public ledger because people trust this system more. All of the real estate market, everything has to go into blockchain. It's only the beginning of what's coming for this market. The big institutions know, the smart investors know, the people that have money, they know what's coming with crypto. It's bigger than AI. It's bigger. It's going to be part of AI. It's going to be integrated together. It's bigger than all of those things. AI is just hype right now. It's still so new. AI is like what crypto was in 2017. It's just hype. It's new. It's cool. People are excited about it. But compared to what will happen in AI in the next 10, 20 years, it's seriously so underdeveloped still. It's like just bare bones. Crypto is starting to move away from bare bones into mass adoption. This is the most exciting thing. Crypto is. Contrary to what's popular, what's cool, what you see in ads, crypto is where it's at. It really is. And this is Apple on the right. I know I've shown this many times in my streams, but it's still just as true today as it was yesterday or the day before. If you look at Apple over here on the right, if you look at the total crypto market cap over here on the left, This is what a new massive uptrend looks like. Massive increasing volume, massive increasing price. This is massive amounts of institutional volume coming into Apple between 1999 and 2009. And you can see it in the volume. You can see it in the price. You can see that's what Apple looked like before Apple went nuts, completely nuts into the moon. That's what crypto looks like today. The total crypto market cap looks exactly like how Apple did. We are preparing for one of the most monstrous, bullish uptrends in human history. So get excited, you guys. Big things are coming. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's live stream. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, I'm excited about the future. Again, I've got a link in the description for a discount for VIP stuff. Let me pull up my guitar. I actually don't know if I know any good Christmas songs off the top of my head. But we'll just play Malaguena because it's cool. It was one of the first songs I really fell in love with on the guitar. So there you go. There's a little song for you. No, it's not a Christmas song. I have to go. I do know some Christmas music, but haven't played them without the sheet music for long enough to just do it right now. But yeah, you guys, big things are coming. He says it's too Spanish for Christmas. All right, I'll play one Christmas song. Oh, whoa. Losing my microphone here. One Christmas song for you guys. We'll just do it. This is a Christmas song, but it's a song about Jesus. So you're going to have to deal with it if you don't like that. But it's really the only one off the top of my head. I don't know like jingle bells and stuff. I never really learned that stuff very much. I think I got to grab my capo. Hold on. We'll play with my nicer guitar too here. my microphone here. Let's see here. Mary, did you know that your baby boy... There we go. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would someday walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? And this child that you've delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hand? Did you know that your baby boy has come, walked where angels trod? And when you've kissed your little baby, then you've kissed the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? The blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again. The lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb. Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy was heaven's perfect lamb? And the sleeping child you're holding is the great I am. So there you go. There's Mary, did you know? All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Merry Christmas, everybody. God be with you. And I will see you guys in future videos and in future live streams. And as always, stay profitable out there.